All right, here we go. Howie Roseman has finally done something on day one of NFL free agency. Let's talk about it here. You're watching Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. And even though it is the aforementioned NFL free agency period, we have a trade alert. Howie Roseman is trading backup quarterback Kenny Pickett to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for Dorian Thompson-Robinson and a 2025 fifth-round pick. Kenny Pickett in the process goes back to the AFC North, a division he has familiarity with because he was taken by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round out of Pitt, and he's going to have an opportunity to start for Cleveland most likely in 2025, although the Browns most likely going to draft a quarterback because they have the number 2 pick in April's NFL draft. But could that just be a holdover plan for Pickett to be the team starter and then eventually hand the reins off to that rookie quarterback? That could be the Browns' thinking here because Deshaun Watson is coming off 2 torn Achilles tendons. And obviously, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is a player who showed a lot of ability at UCLA. He put up really good numbers, was a consistent winner and performer under Chip Kelly out there in Southern California, and has been a little bit rocky while with the Cleveland Browns. And of course, that 2025 fifth-round pick can be used at the Eagles' disposal. You can get some really solid players in the 5th round who can impact your team right from the jump and down the road as well. But the real story here is it is Tanner McKee's time to be QB2 and be the backup behind Jalen Hurts. Tanner McKee has a lot of ability. In his rookie year during the preseason, he wowed a lot of people, including myself, with his ability to throw with timing, touch, accuracy, and anticipation. And he has a pretty strong arm for his size at 6'5", 6'6". He throws a beautiful back shoulder ball. He can make some pretty quick decisions. And when he got his first career start this season, he played very, very well. And I think the Eagles know that he has ability to step in for Jalen Hurts if Hurts were to get hurt, where he could be a starter in this league. And I think that he can be a decent starter in the NFL. But this is a move that I'm not surprised the Eagles are making here, because you trade away Pickett, you get a 5th-round pick, you bring in a player in Dorian Thompson-Robinson who hasn't played well with Cleveland, but he's been thrust into starting roles or relief duties in less than subpar conditions. And I think the Eagles look at DTR as a player who they could potentially develop good athleticism, good college tape, and in the meantime, he can just be their QB3. But for Tanner McKee, keep in mind that he's going into year 3. He's only under contract for 4 years. And so the Eagles are showing a lot of faith in him to maybe hold on to him as a long-term backup behind Hurts and a player who they think is very capable of winning games at the NFL level and performing well. We first saw him in NFL action when he came in for Kenny Pickett after Pickett, to his credit, played well after he was a little bit up and down against Washington as he came in relief duty for Jalen Hurts after that concussion. And Pickett was launching some long balls. He looked good. But then he was dealing with that core rib injury. And so McKee came in against Dallas. He went 3 of 4, and he threw 2 touchdowns. And then he got the start in Week 18 against the Giants. And with the Eagles' backups, he beat the Giants' starters and performed very well. He was 27 of 41 for 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And he showed us what we saw in the preseason. The back shoulder ball, throwing with that timing, making quick decisions. He's not all too mobile, but he moves pretty well. He has good pocket mobility. The Eagles have called themselves a quarterback factory. And the development of Jalen Hurts has been telling. The development of Tanner McKee has been impressive. And you have a new quarterbacks coach in Scott Loeffler. You have a new offensive coordinator in Kevin Patullo. And Howie Roseman and everybody on this offensive staff showing trust in Tanner McKee by making this move, because Kenny Pickett was under contract. The Eagles did not have to move him. but they clearly have value in the 5th round pick and DTR, combined with the faith and the confidence in Tanner McKee. This is why you subscribe to the channel. Whenever there's this breaking news, we talk about it right here on the show. And we, of course, appreciate all of the support that everybody gives us right here on the program. So I am curious to see what people have to say about this. Grade the trade of Kenny Pickett to Cleveland for DTR in a 5th. A, B, C, D, or F. Share your opinions with me down in the comments section. We'll go through all of the players who the Eagles have lost so far in free agency. But first, let's tell you about this deal thanks to our friends at Fanatics. You can get Super Bowl gear available at chatsports.com/EaglesSB. If you haven't gotten gear yet or you want to get some to celebrate one of the most dominant Super Bowl performances we've ever seen in the Eagles, thrashing the Kansas City Chiefs, taking down Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, get it today. Chatsports.com/EaglesSB. Don't wait any longer. And if you've already gotten Super Bowl gear, get some more. Hats, shirts, hoodies, jerseys, whatever you need, Fanatics has it. But use that link so that Fanatics knows that Chat Sports sent you. So as I'm recording this, just before 6 p.m. Eastern on this Monday, March 10th, the Eagles have not signed any players yet, but they have lost some marquee players from their number 1 overall defense from the 2024 season. Isaiah Rodgers is signing with the Minnesota Vikings. Milton Williams got a serious bag from the New England Patriots. Darius Slay is signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Josh Sweat is signing with the Arizona Cardinals. And we'll go through the dollar figures for all of these players. Most notably, the player who got rich in the span of a few hours is Milton Williams, a former 3rd-round pick out of Louisiana Tech who's progressed and developed, and he's gotten better during his tenure with Philadelphia. It's funny how his Eagles career started. There was that famous draft day viral video of a member of the Eagles front office not being happy that Howie Roseman took Milton Williams. Howie was ecstatic. So Howie looked at him and he's like, what's going on? And he gave him a hard fist pound. And Howie believed at that time that Milton Williams could become something. He certainly did, to a point where he signed with the Patriots a 4-year, $104 million contract, $63 million in guaranteed money. That rounds out to $26 million per season. He becomes one of the highest paid interior defensive linemen in the National Football League. And I think the Patriots' thinking here is they need to get better defensively. They had a lot of money to spend in free agency. And Milton Williams is a growing and developing player who had 5 sacks in 2024, was dominant against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, all over Patrick Mahomes, the strip sack. Of course, the big play that he made in that game, in addition to the fumble recovery on that play. Teams are becoming more desperate for interior pass rush help, but he had the 2nd highest pass rush grade, according to Pro Football Focus, among all defensive tackles last year, and put up really good pressure and quarterback hit numbers, despite only playing around 50% of the snaps. So now that he's getting paid more with that speed, physicality, explosiveness, and with the other players who the Patriots have picked up, they were willing to invest serious cash in Milton Williams, and the Eagles were never going to bring him back at that number. Same can be said for Josh Sweat, signing with the Arizona Cardinals. 4 years, $76.5 million. He gets $41 million in guaranteed money. That's just over $19 million per season. And Sweat reunites with Jonathan Gannon. Gannon used to be the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, of course, in 2021 and in 2022. That 2022 season, the Eagles led the NFL with 70 sacks, 15 more than any team. It was the most since the 1985 Bears. Josh Sweat had 11 of them. That was a career high. And so the Cardinals needed a pass rusher. Jonathan Gannon knows how to utilize Sweat. Sweat had a career year under Gannon, and they had the money to spend on Josh Sweat. And at 6'5", 260, he's good against the run, even better as a pass rusher. This move made sense all the way for Arizona, and it's one of the moves that we talked about potentially happening of Sweat linking back up with Gannon with the Cardinals. There have been a lot of reports about Darius Slay signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he hasn't officially been released by Philadelphia yet. And he is free, and the Eagles have given him permission to speak with other teams. But I guess what the Eagles are trying to do, can they get compensation back in a trade for Darius Slay? There are post-June 1, pre-June 1 dynamics there as far as salary cap implications. And so that could be a holdup here. But it looks as though Slay, who wanted to play for a Super Bowl contender this upcoming season, is going to go across the state to Pittsburgh and play on one of the top defenses in the NFL on a Steelers team that offensively is trying to make some moves. They just need to figure out what their quarterback plan is. And then on top of Darius Slay also looking to have left, Isaiah Rodgers signing with the Minnesota Vikings. He gets some decent guaranteed money here, signing a 2-year contract to play under one of the best defensive coordinators in the sport in Brian Flores. 2 years, 15. So that's a pretty good deal. $7.5 million for Isaiah Rodgers, who was a good story. He came off that gambling suspension. Anytime he had to play significant snaps, he played very well. Gave the Eagles some special teams action as a returner. And I think that he can be a really good corner in this game. And when Howie Roseman traded for him 2 years ago, he got Rodgers at really good value. And of course, after having to sit out, Rodgers was a focal point of that Eagles secondary. So with the players who the Eagles have lost, Howie Roseman is confident in Moro Ajomo to replace Milton Williams. He's confident in Jalix Hunt and hopefully Bryce Huff to replace Josh Sweat. And he's confident in the young quarters on this team. Keely Ringo will most likely replace Darius Slay. I still think you need corner depth. And of course, Howie has all the confidence in the world in his 2 top draft picks from last year's draft in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram, by the way, at Chase_Senior. In addition to all of the long-form content that I do right here on YouTube, I do the same on my social media platforms.